Good morning, Tom Ginn. G Force. G is for gratitude. I'm so appreciative of this moment. I'm running a little bit late this morning. I had some time with my wife, and we do our daily devotional, and sat on our veranda looking at nature and just marveling that we do our daily devotionals out there, and got caught up in that conversation. But that conversation was all about there's one path. And we get hung up on so many things, this path, that path, whatever the case may be. And in reality, if we follow one path that connects us to a higher power, whatever that is for you, all the parallel roads will start showing up and take you to your destination. But we get so hung up on so many things, and we got to go here, we got to do that, we got to try this. We instead of staying focused on getting grounded within ourselves. So anyway, it was a great morning sitting on the veranda. I'm so grateful for this day. G is for gratitude, and gratitude is one of the most powerful principles from my perspective, when we understand and apply it and how it works at a subconscious level. And that's why we'll be today covering a real brief topic, but it's pretty powerful, out of this book by Dr. Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. So we'll be covering that here in just a minute. But before I get into that, I want to make a couple announcements about Friday guest. My guest on Friday is Theodora Moga, and she's going to come in and talk about her story, leaving communist Romania, that challenge, getting to the United States, different challenges, adapting to American culture, and some health issues, and what she's doing today. But she's grateful that she is the child of God, and how that has been the cornerstone of her journey for success. She's going to have a very powerful interview with Theodora. So that is Friday. Turn on your notifications. That's going to be 7:30 a.m. Central Time. So just turn on your notifications. Tag your friends. Share this out for Friday. That's our guest. I'm going to bring up her picture real quick. Not only beautiful in presence, but beautiful in spirit, beautiful in her soul. So you're going to have a delightful opportunity to meet Theodora. So with that all said, we're going to jump right in to the power of the subconscious mind. The power of the subconscious mind. I'll bring this banner down here. And it's the treasure house within you. A treasure house. When we look at all the great accomplishments that man has contributed from the beginning of time up to this moment, when you really analyze how those things were done and how they manifested themselves, it was originated, the story, the picture, the outcome they sought was may had a conscious thought, but it was reinforced at a subconscious level, a belief system. And it manifested itself out some of the most magnificent examples of man's creativity and genius is really generated from the subconscious. Many times people think it's the intellect. There's a lot of people who have strong intellect, great IQ, smart as unbelievable intelligence, but why aren't they bringing that out to put it to work and having a difference out there? It's because the subconscious mind is dictating the story that has already been written, is going to give you the final chapter based on beliefs at a subconscious level. gratitude has a tremendous point in that as well. Has a tremendous point in that, because that story is we reflect at a subconscious level on the good things. And so when we apply that, that's really important to understand the subconscious. The subconscious regulates everything. It regulates our body, our functions, and all our systems. It works all the time, never takes a rest. It's always working, your subconscious. It never sleeps, never rests. It's always on the job. It's always on the job. But see, you get to become the master of your destiny when you understand this one diagram, Dr. Thurman Fleet. So when we go through these lessons, if you'd like to get a copy of this, I'd be glad to, send you an email on it so you can have it, because it is a resource that I use. I've got it on my desktop. I use it with my clients so they can identify what their first thoughts are at any given time on an emotional level, how to switch those thoughts, how to reprogram the subconscious to get a different result, because we can track our results back to our subconscious thinking. When I first heard that, I was kind of fearful of that, because I didn't want to really know. But it's been a great journey. It's the most influential thing in my life is getting coaching and mentoring and introduced to these principles. It's radically changed my life in many different ways, in relationships, in my businesses, all those things, in my faith. Everything else has been influenced by understanding Dr. Thurman Fleet's stick person. And as we go through this, I highly encourage, if you're in the coaching business, if you're in the dealing with people, most important thing, we deal with people all the time, but in a professional level, in sales and consulting, or whatever the case may be, in business, when we come to understand how we operate, and we're operating at a subconscious level, this will actually improve your sales as well, because you'll see the paradigms and belief systems come up based on body language and words that they say, how they respond. And those are being triggered, the scripting, by your subconscious. If you're aware of that, it changes the way you communicate with whoever you're dealing with. And that's very powerful when you understand it, that words have power. So the subconscious mind is controlling everything. I'm just going to cover one very specific. We're in the second chapter of this book. And your subconscious is your book of life. Your subconscious is your book of life. Let's take a think about this for a moment. Is when we're born, we have a clean slate. Now, when we're in the womb of our mother, yes, we're picking up the environment, the noises, the sounds, the voices. Within a matter of that first month or so, the infant in the womb can recognize mother's voice. So what an infant is experiencing is being programmed even in the womb. And when they come out, they don't have any logic or reason or anything like that. Whatever our environment's giving us, we accept it there's no thought involved. It becomes part of who we are. So if you're in a positive environment, you're going to have tendency to be more positive in life. If you grow up in a negative environment, you're going to tend to be negative in life. When it comes to money and prosperity, I was brought up in an environment of lack mentality. My mother and her family never had any examples of prosperity in their family lineage. And so it was always lack, and that money. So I grew up with that environment. My parents grew up in the Depression, so they had a whole different perspective about money. And so that was part of how I was programmed until I did some deep work to understand. And that was my story of life: lack, my self-image, how that was formed. my learning disabilities, how I let my story use my learning disabilities that affected my self-image. Now, I always performed at higher levels than a lot of other people, but I never performed at my truest potential or higher potential. And that's because I was programmed not to be and believe that I was capable of doing more. And that is a subconscious programming. So it's really important to do self-examination and have a process and look back. And when you have those areas in your life, how you do a work thing with my clients is drawing a line and go back as far as they can in their memory and start documenting significant events in their life. Whether a child, they made the softball team or didn't make the softball team. They were successful doing a class project or not. And then go through that, and anything that was above the line were all the positive, thing below the line was the negative. And then we analyze who was in your life, what was influencing you, where did you learn that behavior, and what happens is you start seeing a thread of thinking. And if on the negative side, you'll see that thread work all the way up to where you are today. And guess what? Those thoughts are driving your results. And then you can say, now I understand. I'm aware of. And then you go through a process of learning how to reframe that thinking so it impresses upon the subconscious. And when you do that, you're pushing old programming out of the way. It's always there. You're reprogrammed with new software. It could fail at any given time. One circumstance could trigger you back to old thinking. So until that is so ingrained at an emotional level. So the subconscious is controlling everything. It's your book of life. You can take a look right now, and if you took a hard look, just like I was sharing with that line, the positives and negatives, you can start seeing that's your book of life, your thinking. So I just want to cover a few points here. See, what we write on the inside, in that book of life will be the experience on the outside. The results we're seeing that are manifested, the things around us are created on the inside and they manifest on the outside. Just like the saying that I came up with is the threads of your thought become the garments you wear. First thoughts. The threads of your thoughts become the garments you wear. So everything starts on the inside and they will manifest themselves outwards. And then your behavior and your belief systems will continue staying in that circle of beliefs, who you associate with, what books you read, how you accept a book. Everything is controlled at the subconscious, how you deal with it. Your subconscious doesn't evaluate. It doesn't evaluate. It cannot argue. It cannot argue. It just operates. And then our conscious mind, we rationalize and reason to support a thought that may be in your best interest. So even reasoning logic is skewed or can be skewed by your subconscious. Because it is your perspective. It's your book. It's your story. And you bought into it. But the beautiful thing, you can change it. Like Bob Proctor says, you can rewrite your story and create from this point on moving forward a whole different set of thoughts from the inside, and they will manifest the outside. Some things can happen very quickly. Some things are processes. It depends that history of the subconscious, how quick you can turn around. But with good mentoring and good coaching, good processes, you can dramatically change where you are today to where you really like to be in any area of your life. It's not all about money and success. Now, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Success is also, in my definition, is it's who you become along the way. If you're becoming better, the only way you can obtain anything at a higher level, something that you've never done before, you want improvement in relationships, or you want an improvement in your business, you want improvement in sales, you want improvement in anything, it's who you become along the way. You've got to get better yourself, not just intellectually and knowledge and all that, because I know a lot of people have a lot of knowledge, but they can't tie their shoes. You know, they got great knowledge about a product and a service, but they can't articulate it to get somebody to buy into that product or service because they don't believe. Their subconscious is putting the roadblocks up. Or we go to circumstances. Poor me, I'm the victim. And so the subconscious is controlling your life. It's your book of life. Here's a great day. Write your book today. Start today. What's the end result that you seek? What does that look like? That's vision, that manifestation. What does your life look like? What does it feel like at an emotional level? Because we're emotional creatures. We operate at that level. We make our decisions on emotions. Even the most logical, analytical people make their first, why they're making a decision to do anything is at an emotional level. Then they'll rationalize and use logic and reason to support it. So your subconscious acts only from what you write on it. It's already been written on. And you continue writing on it. Keep using the same script, the same chapters over and over and over again, and expect a different outcome in the book. This is why you're always writing your book of life. Because your thoughts become your experiences. Your thoughts become your experiences. The American author Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Man is what he thinks all day long." There is a continual thought that you're working on. Sometimes you're conscious of it, sometimes you're not. But when you become aware of your first thoughts, what you're thinking about all day at a subconscious level, at an emotional level, when you become aware of that, you can alter the course. You can rewrite a new chapter. You can start manifesting the final chapter of your life, what that's going to look like in this process. So gratitude works. I'm so grateful for this day. I'm so grateful that I had an opportunity this morning to sit on the veranda with my beautiful wife, Kathy, and do some deep discussion on passages we read out of some daily devotionals. And it makes a difference. It sets the tone. I was a little anxious today. I got a lot of things going on. My wife's got a brand new project I'm overseeing on it. It takes a little bit of technology support around it. And I was a little bit about this, but it's going to be great. And I'll just share with you, she is taking on a passion of her life. She's rewriting her book, but in that she's helping other people write their book. She's is starting a process to interview people in their lives, doing a transcript of that, and be able to pass that story on to their family, because there's so many stories out there that need to be heard, and why that family story, that legacy, is not being recorded. So she's taken on a new project in her business, and it's a passion. And so she's doing her first interview today, and she has a great colleague that's training her how to do those deeper dives, ask the right questions to help that story manifest itself out that's meaningful to the family member. So Kathy will be coming on here in the near future to talk about her book that she's about ready to put in the marketplace, but talk about this project as well, because capturing our history is so important, so important. And so I just thought I'd share with that a little promotion there for her. And I'm so grateful to have such a magnificent woman in my life, Kathy. Her depth of caring is phenomenal. I learn every day from her. So great example. It's her. I'm grateful for her. It's the reason I do what I do, and she's been one of my greatest influences. So get this book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Start writing your story. Start getting clear at a subconscious level what you really desire in life, and you can manifest it through a process. To learn more about what I'm doing, there's my email. Be free to reach out to me. If you'd like to have a conversation, you can schedule a consultation with me, see where you're at, find out more about what I'm doing, see if we'd be a right fit to help you write the chapters of your book that you of life. So with that all said, I'm so grateful for you. There is a treasure house within you. All great things have been created from the subconscious, not the intellectual side. It's the manifestation, the belief systems that make those great thoughts become a reality. So with that, G-Force, thank you for being here today. Tag and share your friends. Turn on your notifications. I'm looking to build my YouTube channel. Please subscribe. There's a link that you can go and subscribe to. And Friday, Theodora Moga, Grateful Child of God, 7:30 Central Time. See you then. We're signing out.